The Bewitching. Take 3 or 4 or 5. At this point, I don't know. Check out my cool mug. This is my Edgar Allen Poe mug. And around it are all kinds of lines from his different stories. I love this mug. And to fit today's theme, this is the Grim Steeper. I love this tea infuser. And, oh wait, let me take this guy out of here so I can drink my tea. And I'm also wearing my Sanderson Sisters Brewing Company shirt. Okay, why am I in a spooky theme today? That's because I'm going to be talking about the book I just read, The Bewitching by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. So I love this author. I already read Mexican Gothic and Silver Nitrate, and then I saw that she was coming out with a new book, and that Book People here in Austin was having her come through to sign the book, to talk about it. So I decided I would treat myself. I never used to, I'm doing it now, I never used to treat myself to bookish events and things, and I'm doing that now because I want to take myself seriously as a writer. And so I need to be doing writerly things, like supporting other writers and reading their work, because this is how we learn and this is how we grow. So, The Bewitching. Let's talk about this. First of all, the book cover is gorgeous. We have, obviously, it's going to be a little spooky, a little witchy. It is also very dark academia. So if you haven't read Silvia Moreno-Garcia yet, she is, I think she kind of hops around a little bit with some play and genre, but she does horror and gothic horror exceptionally well from what I've read from her so far. So I love the cover. I thought it was gorgeous. Oh, because I went to go hear her talk about it and buy the book, I got it signed. So it makes me very happy. Got to have a little treat for myself. So this book follows 3 different timelines, 3 different stories. First, in 1998, we have Minerva, our main character. She is, so this is 1998, set at a college up by Boston. So she is a student there. She is writing her thesis about a horror author who also went to that school back in 1934. So 1934 is another timeline, second timeline. And so Minerva is able to read some of the journals and a manuscript of this 1934 author. And so through her reading it, we get into this second timeline. Now, our third timeline is 1908, and that is where we follow Alba, and that is Minerva's great-grandmother as a young lady back in Mexico. Now, what ties them all together is that all 3 of them are dealing with witches. And then we learn a lot about how they're connected, and how these different generations are dealing with the same thing and learning from each other, let's say, in this story. I thought this was beautifully written, as I think of all of Silvia Moreno-Garcia's work. But one thing that I really loved about this, and actually what got me more excited to read it, was whenever I went to her book signing and to hear her talk about it, and she talked about the different traditional lore of witches and where up in the New England area we have, Stephen King and Shirley Jackson, and she named a few others, but it's a spooky place. I mean, also we had Salem and the history of that. So she takes this place that already has this very American, European American lore of witches. And then we also learn a lot about, in Mexico, when Alba in 1908 is dealing with witches down there, we learn about the traditional witch lore in Mexico, which is now a blend of pre-colonial lore and also post-colonial lore, and how it has blended and created this new thing altogether. But so it was really cool whenever she was talking about the book and all of this background of the different types of witches in these two different spaces and how they're different. And it was really, really cool to learn more about the Mexican traditional folklore behind their witches, and how it is very different and also very similar, but also very different. But so Silvia did a ton of research. Like you could hear, from her when she was talking about it, like how much work and love and dedication she put into this book just by the research alone. And so just listening to her talk about that, I was really excited to finally dive into this book. So, and then yes, it took me a couple of months to get to it because life. But I loved it. I highly recommend it. I think because this is just an author that I want to read all of her work. And so I think the next one I'm going to read by her is probably going to be Velvet Was the Night. And then she also did The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, which I also would like to read, and Signal to Noise. So I have a list. She's on the list many times for my TBR. So yes, I'm Kaylee. I like tea and reading and writing and talking about other books that I like from authors that I love. So you should pick this up. You should give it a read. Also, if you have read any of her books, please let me know what you thought about them. What are your favorite books by Silvia Moreno-Garcia? So I hope you have a great spooky day. Stay safe from the witches.